guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Heather and I'm the owner and author behind townsandhouse.com, where I help you implement systems and strategies in order to overcome the chaos and cultivate simplicity in your home and homeschool. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my curriculum picks for my youngest, Lucy, who I'm going to say is going to be in kindergarten. Her birthday falls later in the fall, and so if she were in public school, she would be going into kindergarten this year. However, we did sort of do kindergarten last year. As my kids have gotten older, I have stepped back from when I start them with school. We have been homeschooling for a decade, which I've said in previous videos, but Emma is only 12, so that means I started preschool with Emma when she was 2. Yes, I did. And I loved that program, and she was ready for it and thrived, and she has thrived in all of the school that we have done. But I did not feel like Lucy was at that point for any sort of formal learning until pretty much this past spring, I think, was when she really wanted to do more. I don't like to force it when they're young. My goal with homeschooling is to create a love of learning and to give my kids the tools that they need to know how to learn so that they can seek out information on their own. And so I didn't want to force it because she just wasn't ready. So we did work on some reading last year and handwriting and letters, and I have gone through 2 preschool programs with her that I use for both Jack and Emma from Sonlight. And we did start HBLA last year, which is Sonlight's kindergarten program. However, this year they came out with an actual kindergarten program. So I'm going to go through all of that with you and share some of the other things that we are going to be doing this year. She has already started a lot of the work. This is, when I'm filming this is mid-June, and we received a lot of this stuff April, May, and she just wanted to start it. So that's what we did. When one of my kids shows interest in something, that's when I start it. And I don't want to force it, but I let them start when they're ready. So I'm going to take you down into our homeschool room. I am sorry for the lighting. It is a very dark space down there. And I'm going to take you through all of the curriculum choices that we have for Lucy for this year. Kindergarten, first grade, kindergarten, I think kindergarten probably through January, and then maybe moving into first grade. We'll see. It's still up in the air, but I will take you down and show you that information now. Okay guys, this is what I have for Lucy for kindergarten this year. Last year we did the Sonlight History, Bible, Literature A program. It was mostly the history and Bible portion. And I did read aloud, obviously, to her a lot of the literature books that came with HBLA. However, I did not really start her with the language arts program until I guess right after Christmas. She started showing interest in learning how to read, and that is when we picked up the readers, which I don't have right at the moment. Let me go get those. So these are the little readers that come with the Language Arts A program. However, they are now also in the K program. So you can choose your language arts based on your child's reading level and writing level, I believe, through Sonlight. We have used these with all three of my kids, and they are just cute little stories. I don't know, when my kids show interest in reading, that's when we pick these up and see how they do with sounding out the letters into words. And so we use these. This is part of the language arts. And then so is my first picture dictionary. So this was actually part of what we already had for language arts for Lucy, and we're just going to continue using that this year. I have all of the worksheets that we have not completed, and we will just continue working on those throughout the year. We mainly do handwriting without tears when my kids are Lucy's age, 5, 6, 7. I don't make them do a whole lot of writing by hand until they feel comfortable and that they have enough stamina to do it. So when I see that they are spending a lot of time drawing, that is when I will incorporate more of the writing part of the language arts. Until then, I usually will jot down their answers. If it's about like forming letters and stuff, obviously that is handwriting that they will work on, but I don't push it too much for them. So this is the book that we used last year for Lucy, and I got a second one just because when she started it, she was still 4, and so some of the beginning pages were not done all that well, and I think it will be helpful for her to just work on some practice of that before she moves on to this one, which she tried to move on to last year without me helping her. So the lines that they write in are just a little bit, sorry about that. So the lines that they write in are a little bit more narrow, and so she still needs wider lines to write in with the dots in the middle, just so that she can learn how to form her words correctly and her letters correctly. So we will move on to this once I feel that she is more comfortable with this orange book. Now for math, I have always used the Singapore Early Bird Kindergarten Mathematics Textbook Standards Edition. This is the textbook, and it does have notes at the bottom for what the teacher is supposed to say to the group of students. Right now, she is about a third of the way through, and she is just going to continue using this until she's done with it, and then we will move on to B. And because she started it early, we may finish before next year. I don't make her do too much out of these books each day. I let her sort of go at her own pace. So if she wants to do a few pages, we do a few pages. If she wants to only do 1 page, that is fine as well. You'll go through all of these lessons and figure out all kinds of different things, and it's nice and colorful. This is not Common Core. There is a Common Core edition, but this is the Standards edition, and we use the US edition for 1A through 6B. So when she finishes this, we will move on to the 1A program. I try to keep my kids in math most of the year. Doing a little math, I mean, every day is helpful for me to keep them on track. So for Bible this year, there is a new Bible program for the KHBL, and it comes with this Sing the Word CD, Teach Me Your Path, Scripture Songs for Children. Lucy loves all of the CDs that we have from Sonlight. It just has, little songs and teaches verses, through the songs. We have a geography one as well, and she loves all of those songs. And music is something that we love as a family, so we put this on in the morning. I don't follow a schedule for these verses. I find that they will just listen to the CD and memorize them on their own. We don't have to schedule it into our day. Just when the kids want to listen to some music, I put on one of these CDs and they listen to it. And then the other Bible part that we have is this 1-year Bible for children, and it is just a little story each day from the Bible, and then it has a remember, discover, and apply. And so these are just little questions that you go through to help them understand the story. And we just do one each day. The way that it's scheduled in the instructor's guide, which I will show you at the end, is I think that you do like a couple of days at a time. Some days are 1 day, some days are 2 or 3 days. I think that's so that you get through this entire book within the 36 weeks that they have scheduled for you. We just read one each morning, and I read it while the kids eat breakfast, and so it's more for Lucy, but the older two enjoy listening to it as well. My older two have different Bible programs that they work on and devotions, but this is a good thing to have around breakfast, and it helps Lucy to hear Emma and Jack help answer some of the questions. They've been through several of these types of Bible programs already with the, one story a day type of thing. So they're pretty well versed in what the different Bible stories are. And so they do help jog her memory when I'm asking the different questions at the bottom of each day's reading. So the biggest part of this new program are these new spines, and this is Heroes and Happenings. I haven't looked through this book too much yet, but it is really colorful, and it has these short stories and little questions that you can ask, as well as more information if you want to do a little more research about different things. I really, really am happy that all 3 of my kids can be in American history all at the same time. So we will do American history for all 3 of the kids this year. Emma is in a more advanced, Jack is in like the middle level, and then Lucy, obviously, kindergarten. So this is book 1, and then book 2 is here. And if you want to have a better look at some of these books, just let me know in the comments so that I can do like a flip through video for you. These don't really lay flat, so it's kind of hard to flip through it and let you see. But I really like how bright and colorful they are, and the stories are really pretty short, and I think that it is going to be a great year for Lucy to go through this. And then the other books that we have, I think for history, there might actually be some more in this stack here. I have them organized by when we use them, but I'm not showing you in that order because I took them all off the shelves. I'm going to have to reorganize them. Maps and Globes, which this I believe was part of either B or C. We have all of the levels from the P34 all the way through HBL 100, except for level F. We do not have level F, but we have every single other level. And with this K level, there were several books that I pulled from other HBL levels. So I did pull several of the books that are on the kindergarten core or HBL off of my shelves already. This is one of them. And then we have The Very First Americans, which is also another book that we already had. Little House in the Big Woods, Please and Thank You book. This one was in another HBL as well. The Terrible Two, The Adventures of a South Pole Pig. This was one of the summer readers packages a while back, so we already had this as well. Travels with My Family, Violet Mackerel's Brilliant Plot, The Silver Balloon, 26 Fairmont Avenue, Just Dance, The Boxcar Children, we actually read this last year. I pulled it so that it would be in the K HBL now, mainly because I know that there have been some updates to A, and B, because of this new K program. So I am pulling books that go specifically with K now so that they stay with K. It's very confusing. We have an awful lot of books, but if I keep them organized, it's not so bad. So the Boxcar Children, which we really enjoy these books. I don't have any more physical books, but we do have some of them on audio, and I think some of them are also on Kindle Unlimited, which we do subscribe to. Roxy and the Hooligans, Lulu and the Dog from the Sea, A Grain of Rice. This one was also in Core A. This was one of our favorite books when Emma did the A program, which is what we used to use for kindergarten. And like I said, we did read a lot of these books, a lot of the A books last year. This was not one of them. We did read My Father's Dragon. This is one of our favorites. We've read this several times with the programs and without the programs. My kids really enjoy these books. This is called Feelings, The World According to Humphrey, Love from Anna Hibiscus, I'm assuming this one is the first one, The Llama Who Had No Pajama. This is just little poems, and we have read through this several times. You can see my bookmark, that's where we are right now. So this used to be, I believe, in A, I'm not sure. But we love all of the poetry books that Sonlight has. They are a lot of fun. I read them at lunchtime to the kids, and then they also take some time to read them aloud as well. We take turns reading. Dolphin Adventure and Dolphin Treasure. We just finished Dolphin Adventure, and we're starting Dolphin Treasure, which we really enjoy. If you lived at the time of the Civil War, You Wouldn't Want to Be an American Pioneer, The Amazing Impossible Erie Canal, Abandoned on the Wild Frontier, How We Crossed the West, The Adventures of Lewis and Clark. This will be good because Jack is also reading a book on Lewis and Clark this year. I'm not sure if Emma has a Lewis and Clark specific book this year. I don't think that she does. But Jack is reading, I don't know if it's The Adventures of Lewis and Clark, I'm not sure. But he has a Lewis and Clark book, so this will be good to read as well. George versus George, If You Lived in Colonial Times. And then the last one is Three Young Pilgrims. So these are all of the books that we will be reading this year for Lucy's kindergarten program. I know it seems like a lot of books, especially if you read or if you watched my 7th grade reveal. You saw that was a lot of books. These are this particular program is a literature-based program, and so because of that, we do read a lot of books, but it's not all at one sitting, and I don't make my kids sit still while they're reading. So we spend a lot of time jumping on the trampoline, using Play-Doh, working with Legos, and drawing while I am reading. And I use meal times to read. I read in the afternoon to the kids. We read at night to the kids. I love reading so much, and we incorporate it into a lot of our day. It doesn't mean that we read for 4 hours straight. We definitely take breaks. I would not be able to speak if we didn't. So there is a lot of reading, but we really enjoy it. And because everybody is in U.S. history this year, I think it's going to be a little bit easier because if we're all in the same timeline, it just makes it a little bit easier. You know, I can read Emma's stuff with her, but Jack and Lucy will probably listen to a lot of the same books. And then the older kids can get up and leave when they want, or Lucy can leave when she wants if we're not reading her books, to go play by herself. So now I'm going to try and move some of these books out of the way, and I will show you the instructor's guide. Here is the instructor's guide, and we love Sonlight instructor's guides. They are so useful for us. However, I do not go through all of the grid schedules the way that they are listed. So there's a lot of extra information in here, how to use the guide, and book lists, and what you can expect, and optional resources, recommended resources, extra things that you may want to have for your homeschool. Now, each week is labeled week 1. They are not dated in like a September through June or September through May schedule. It's just dated day 1, day 2, day 3, and then you can either put the date up at the top and fill it in yourself, or what I do is I actually go through and transfer this information into my Erin Condren teacher planner, and the reason is because we do not necessarily follow this schedule. So each day it does have, read a couple of chapters in a book, or read a page from a poetry book. You read a couple of pages at a time, and the thinking behind it is that your kids, when you read shorter sections, will have more time to think about those things, and I agree with that. However, it's very difficult when I'm reading a book, if the kids are really enjoying it, to stop. And so I don't know how many times I read through the entire Curious George book, all 10 or 12 stories in the Curious George book, at one sitting, because Lucy wanted me to. And it's the same, I know in one of the literature portions or language arts, they use the Dr. Seuss ABC book, and they'll say, read the A pages. Well, that's about 2 sentences. So we read the whole book at once, and then we just continue to read it repeatedly. We concentrate on the specific letter, but we do read more than a page at a time, especially in the younger grades, because some of the books, they will have you just stop in the middle of a chapter, which is a little strange to me, and so we always at least finish a chapter. So it has this grid, which you can use however you want. I use it as a guide. We do read things in the order that Sonlight has, and the reason that I purchased the instructor's guide, even though we don't follow the day-by-day schedule, is because of all of the extra notes and the schedule that they have, so that I can make sure that we are staying on top of what we need to. So, for example, we may read only the Map and Globes book for a few days, for a couple of days, and we will read through all of those pages in a shorter setting, and then we'll read the Dolphin Adventure book another day. So my kids don't like to go through several books in one sitting. They are more invested in the story, and sometimes I think that actually helps with their comprehension, instead of stopping and starting a new book and having to shift your mind to a completely different reference point. So after the schedule, the grid, they have this how-to quick start information, record keeping, vocabulary, and cultural literacy. This is just in the first week. It doesn't have this at the bottom of each week. And then you move into any notes for the different days based on what book you are using. So it has things about memorization, the 1-year Bible, maps and globes. These are the discussion questions, and they have the little answers. So we really, really enjoy using these discussion questions. I use them for all of the kids, and that's been a really enjoyable part of our homeschooling, sitting down and having those conversations. And oftentimes what happens is the kids will start to ask other questions, and we'll start to have more conversations about whatever we are reading together, or whatever they are reading individually. That's obviously more with my older two. So this is the Language Arts K program, and there's plenty of notes here. It tells you what to do, activities to do, and then at the end, you can see this is from Lucy. Gosh, I think she did this a year ago. So she will practice on the page. Sometimes I will make copies of these. One side is for one writing program. This side is for Handwriting Without Tears. And this side is for Reason for Handwriting, but we use both sides. I know that it's different for everybody, but so she will use these pages at the end. It comes with all the worksheets, and then it just goes on to the next week. And so you have your notes, you have your questions. So this is how the program runs, and it is colored. There are different colors based on whether you're in the history, Bible literature part, or the language arts is a different color, and then their science program is another color. So each week is the same. You have your 5-day grid. I do buy the 5-day program. I believe there is a 4-day for this, but I always get the 5-day program. I don't mind moving things around because I move things around already. However, if you are in a co-op or something where you are out of the house for one day of the week, you may want to just get the 4-day program. It does have fewer books, which I think is part of the reason that I get the 5-day. But now they also have the option to purchase the 5-day books as like a separate package. So you can still get all of the books, but only have a 4-day schedule, and then those extra 5th day books you can just read on your own, and there is no instructor's guide associated with it. So you just get, extra books, and then you can read them and make up your own questions or whatnot. But I always get the 5-day. I think I said this in maybe my Erin Condren academic planner walkthrough video that we are going to be scheduling out a 4-day week, and then Fridays are going to be more fun stuff, like their art program and music and exploration and working on their own individual projects. My kids are constantly coming up with new projects that they want to do. So we are probably going to be doing more, like a heavier 4-day week, and then the 5th day is going to be more fun stuff that the kids want to do. So yeah, that is the instructor's guide that comes with the K HBL program. There's so many more notes in the back. There's like appendices and all kinds of other stuff. But this is the K Exploring American History from Sonlight. There is, Bookshark is the secular version of Sonlight. So they don't have the Bible portion in their program, and I believe they switch out some of the books. So I'm not sure if Bookshark has this Exploring American History K program, but you might want to look there if you are looking for a non-religious version, or you could also use this and just ignore the Bible portion. We use different Bible for all of my kids, and we do family devotions and some other extra things, like write the word journals from the Cultivate What Matters. So that is kind of what we are going to be doing this year for Lucy. The only thing that I do not have, because I'm still waiting on it, is I got her a little doodle book that she can use while Emma and Jack are doing their art. But this is the kindergarten program that we have chosen for Lucy, and it is very laid back. I know that this seems like an awful lot of work for somebody in kindergarten. However, it is mostly reading and discussion and exploration, and I really don't force it. I try hard to not make it into a big thing. I want school to be fun for my kids, and when they are in the younger elementary years, my desire is to have them be curious about things. And so, you know, if she is really struggling to work through some books or to sit and listen to some books, and even the handcrafts that we usually do during read alouds are not working, we'll slow down and step back and work on mainly the 3 R's, and that really only takes me about 20 to 30 minutes a day for her. It is not a huge chunk of time, and we do that usually first thing in the morning. We start our circle time, we get our sillies out, we read a couple of stories, we do her math and handwriting, and work on whichever reader she's working on at the moment, and then everything else is extra. And we do have, 7 days a week to work on things. We don't have to only school Monday through Friday. So how we set things up, it changes all the time. It really depends on my kids. Not that I just let them go and do whatever they want, but I do want to make sure that they are absorbing it. And so if they are too rambunctious, they're not absorbing it, and we need to take a step back and work on self-control and other character qualities to enable them and give them the tools they need to be able to sit and listen and comprehend the information. So that is Lucy's very long kindergarten reveal, and I will have Jack's 5th grade up hopefully soon. I'm trying to wait until I have all of his stuff. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to wait, but and I will have a link for Emma's 7th grade curriculum choices if you're interested in seeing that. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.